Hello guys, so welcome back to my channel, and it's been a long time that I've heard fans be divided so much about a movie. And the movie that I'm talking about today is Superman, the 2025 version, directed by James Gunn, not connected to any of the previous movies before, because this is a complete reboot, so let's talk about it. First of all, how this movie started was very different than your normal reboot movies. In normal reboot movies, you get the origin story of the character, but this movie completely skipped the origin story of Superman. And I thought that was a good choice because uh, people know about Superman, people know about his origin story, they have heard about it quite a lot. So I get why they did that, and I was fine with it. But this is a new iteration of Superman than in any media we have had before. So even if they had decided to show us some origin story of this version of Superman, I would not have minded at all, and maybe even the newer audience who don't know about Superman would have appreciated. But it is what it is. How this movie started was with the narration way of storytelling, like in Star Wars. I thought was cool to get us caught up with this universe, and I really liked it. Uh, how they introduced to us the Superman in this movie was getting injured in middle of the fight, which was a different way of opening a superhero movie. It was very refreshing, and I was instantly invested. Now let's talk about the cast and the characters. Starting off with David Cornswet as Superman. I thought he was fantastic. I don't know where I would put him in the list of Supermans that we have had in live action series and movies, but he was great. He was believable as Superman, and I really liked him. Now, the portrayal of Superman in this movie, like I said in the beginning, he was very different than any other versions that we have had. The closest to I can think of is the 1996 animated show, which I really liked. But yeah, he's very different, and one of the most relatable Supermans that we have had, which again I really enjoyed seeing that. A different Superman is always welcoming, and I appreciated that. Also, you don't get to see much of Clark Kent in this movie. I would have liked to see him now and then, but you don't get that here. You get a lot of Superman though, who is one of my favorite characters, so I did not mind that. Also, Superman gets beaten a lot in this movie, which is fine. I like seeing him vulnerable at times, but I would have loved to see that God mode Superman now and then as well, because again, I missed him. I missed that God level Superman. It's so cool. Now, other characters. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane was perfect. The way she took interviews, the way she portrayed Lois Lane was just how Lois Lane was supposed to be, and her relation with the Superman was also really good. You had Crypto the dog. Now I don't know about Crypto the super dog. I haven't read the comics, but as someone who likes the dog, I thought he was cute and very like a real dog. You also had Justice Gang. Guy Gardner as Green Lantern was really cool, was really funny. He had some really good comedic lines. Mr. Terrific, who I did not know much about, was also in this movie, and he had some really cool moments as well. Hawk Girl, who I actually knew from the animated show, so I would have liked to see her more, but you did not get that, so I was kind of disappointed by that. Now let's talk about Lex Luthor, who was one of the most controversial character in this movie. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, I thought was one of the best Lex Luthor that we have had. He was so good with the amount of amount of content he was given. What I mean by that is the portrayal of Lex Luthor in this movie is mixed bag for me. Sometimes he was so good, like when in some of the scenes I was like, yes, this is the Lex Luthor that I know and I wanted. But in some of the scenes, I was like, no, this isn't it. And this all came. I think this all came down to James Gunn portrayal of these characters. James Gunn is a great director. I will not deny that. But sometimes he portrays characters in his own way, which sometimes works, sometimes does not. And also, he did change one of the origin of Superman, which is very controversial for the fans. I did not mind it much, but I had to put it out there. Another thing is the emotional setting. When James Gunn lets the emotional setting play out, it's fantastic, and we have that in this movie as well. One or two moments that he let it play out was great. But what he does in some of the emotional setting is play some of the jokes in the background or maybe around that emotional setting, which again, a lot of superhero movie do that recently. They don't let the emotional settings play out, and there has to be some joke in the middle or in the background, so it does ruin the moment. In this movie, it did not bother me as much as in the other superhero movies that we have had, but it is there, and it sometimes did bother me. Not as much as in the other movies, but yeah, it was there. Uh, let's talk about the CGI, the visual effects, which I thought was great. Some of the CGI moments like we looked comicky, but I was expecting that, so I did not mind that. But some did stand out. But overall, the CGI was good. The score in this movie was also good, but yeah, in some of the moments I would have loved uplifting score. But yeah, it was fine. And the action sequences, they were actually good. Some of the action sequences I found really cool. But I will say this: if there was a God mode Superman, and I would have loved to see him in that action, it would have been really cool. But overall, the action was great as well. The plot of this movie was also really easy to uh, get around, so I like the plot as well. So if you are listening to this review, you might have noticed that in every aspect of this movie, I have talked things about things that I like, things I didn't like. This is the whole movie. At first, I really liked it, but once I start processing it, in every aspect, I found something that I liked and something that I thought could have been better. But the things that I like weighed out the things that I did not like, because I enjoyed this movie. To a new beginning, to the new franchise, the possible new franchise, I thought this was a good start. So I'm not in the group that didn't like this movie. I'm more towards liking this movie, but I can accept the flaws that this movie has. So overall, for me, this movie is a B plus, maybe A minus, maybe B plus. I'm gonna stick with B plus, but it's a good movie. So if you like Superman, do watch it. You might have your own opinion. Do share with me in the comments below. For me, I liked it. Not, I don't think that it was a great Superman movie, but still a good Superman movie, and I'm really excited what they will do next. So that's it for the review. Hope you liked it. Like and subscribe. Bye.